the Christians actually did something to the Ottoman invaders for... Wow. All right.
It is late November in the year 1443.
I look a bit different, don't I? Just because I woke up early. So I actually had time to prep myself. I said that in my video. Usually, I wake up first and then I record, but I woke up super early. So I actually had time to prep myself. So I actually look different. In fact, this is actually how I usually look like when I
routed and destroyed by
actually like make sure I look proper.
With only a week's march standing between the Crusaders and the imperial capital, all seemed lost for the once unstoppable Ottoman Sultanate. The battle for the fate of the entire Balkans was just over the snowy horizon. This video is made available for free thanks to our...
I hope this is the correct order. I hope I'm doing this in the correct order. Sponsor, I'm broke. I'm broke.
Rights on future videos and supporting us.
I'm broke, mate.
As the Byzantines were left politically and religiously divided after the Council of Florence, significant developments coming out of Hungary would become the catalyst of events to come for the following 2 decades. The death of King Sigismund back in 1437 caused a period of political instability in Buda, as the
Swear, bro, I need to learn some Hungarian history.
former king had no male heirs to succeed him to the throne. Eventually, Sigismund's son-in-law, Duke Albert of Austria, was elected as the new King of Hungary, in return for conceding a number of political concessions to the Hungarian nobility. Being faced with a Transylvanian peasant revolt, Ottoman raids from Wallachia, and an unruly nobility at home, the new foreign King of Hungary, like his predecessor before him, spent the first months of his reign placating the local officials of his capital and his realm. This sudden wave of Hungarian instability was not lost on Edirne. Seeing significant signs of political weakness from his main European rival, the opportunistic Murad II invaded his vassal of Serbia in order to solidify Ottoman military control over the Western Balkans.
That is crazy. Yo, Serbia is a vassal, but still getting invaded. Wow.
August of 1439, the newly founded Serbian capital of Smederevo had fallen under a 3-month siege, and soon after, all of Serbia officially became an Ottoman province under the direct rule of Edirne.
Wow.
While
Rip Serbia.
Serbian despot Juraj Branković fled to Buda in horror. The political situation for Hungary got even worse, as in the fall of the same year, the newly crowned King Albert died of dysentery while mustering an army to repulse the Ottoman offensive. As a result of Albert's sudden death and the dissolution of his army, Murad began his siege on the Hungarian fortress city of Belgrade in 1440, as its conquest would open up the rest of Hungary for future Ottoman military campaigns. Even though the 5-month siege failed to penetrate the walls of Belgrade, it sent shockwaves across the whole region, as a sizable Muslim army was now at the gates of Central Europe. Back in Buda, the political scene had become even more chaotic, as King Albert's sudden death had caused a power vacuum in the kingdom. Even though the late king's widow had given birth to a posthumous son, Ladislaus V, much of the Hungarian nobility rejected the infant's claim to the Hungarian throne, as many preferred a monarch capable of dealing with the current Ottoman crisis on the southern border.
Yeah, the Ottomans. Yo, the Ottoman-Hungarian rivalry. I feel like this is a super underrated rivalry. Everyone knows about France and England. Most people who claim to know history, they always know about that. Or the US or the Soviet Union. But like, I always felt like the rivalry between Hungary and the Ottomans were super underrated. Like, who is gonna be the one to dominate the Balkans, man?
As a result, the 15-year-old King Władysław III of Poland was offered the crown by the estates of the realm, thus sparking the flames of a Hungarian civil war. Between 1440 and 1441, the supporters of Ladislaus V and Władysław III clashed all across the country, culminating in the latter's decisive win against the former.
They offered him the crown. Ooh, I wonder how Russia would have responded to that. Because Russia was always insecure of Poland.
As the infant king of Hungary fled to the safety of Austria, Władysław entered Buda and began consolidating his hold over his newly acquired kingdom by appointing loyal men to offices of power. One such man was a talented Hungarian military magnate named John Hunyadi, whose martial skill had won Władysław the throne at Batazek. Being appointed the voivode of Transylvania and the military governor of many of the kingdom's southern border.
Transylvania. We see that Transylvania is a part of Hungary here. Romania. Was Romania ever a kingdom until recently, or am I tripping? I don't know, the whole Transylvania issue of Romania, I don't even know, like, who has the better claim. Speaking more of my American accent, because I don't know, I just feel like it today. I'll do that. You'll get used to it. I'll like switch it from one accent and then switch it to the other. You'll get used to it, believe me.
The counties. Hunyadi became one of the most influential and active members of the new Hungarian court overnight. First repairing the damaged walls of Belgrade from the recent Ottoman siege, Hunyadi began his tenure as a major political figure by launching a major raid into Ottoman-held Serbia during the late summer of 1441. In a surprise turn of events, the Hungarian magnate was able to score a shocking victory over the local Muslim governor of Smederevo in a field battle before raiding the local countryside. In a response to this defeat, Murad II ordered a raiding army to strike deep into Transylvania through Wallachia the following year. However, this army was also defeated and routed by Hunyadi at the Battle of Hermannstadt. In the wake of the
Oh my gosh. The Ottomans are getting whooped for once in their life, aside from Timur.
battle, the Hungarian magnate was celebrated as a war hero in
Granted, Timur, it really did seem like Timur was going to lose in the Battle of Ankara.
Buda, as he was one of the few Europeans who had proven capable of beating the Ottomans in open battle.
And probably would have lost now that I think about it, if I'm being fair.
He was hailed as the White Knight of Transylvania by not only his own countrymen, but also throughout Christian Europe. Meanwhile, as a result of the defeat at Hermannstadt, an ever so enraged Murad blamed the misfortunes of his armies on his Wallachian vassal Vlad II. The Wallachian voivode was called forth to Edirne and was put under house arrest, while his eldest son, Mircea II, took control of Wallachia. This move by the Ottoman Sultan proved to be a big mistake. Seeing an opportunity to subdue the unstable buffer country into Hungarian vassalage once more, Hunyadi invaded Wallachia during the fall of 1442 and defeated an Ottoman force near the river Yalomitsa in yet another surprising showcase of military prowess. In this engagement,
this guy is a menace.
Ottoman marcher lords were killed, alongside thousands of Ottoman raiders and janissaries. After the battle, the cousin of the former Wallachian ruler, the pro-Hungarian Basarab II, was installed as voivode, while Mircea II fled into hiding with his loyal followers in the countryside. During his journey back to Hungarian territory, Hunyadi also sacked and razed the Ottoman town of Vidin as a showcase of strength against Edirne. Hunyadi's military campaign into Wallachia had been a major psychological success for Buda, which now saw itself as capable of standing against Ottoman aggression after many years of military defeats. Moreover, for the first time in decades, the war shifted to Ottoman territory, thus finally giving a period of respite for the new subjects of Władysław III. In spite of these military disasters, Murad II was determined to respond to what he saw as Hungarian aggression. Hence, he released Vlad II from his captivity and sent him to retake Wallachia at the head of an army. By the spring of 1443, Basarab's support in the country had withered away as he lacked the political support of his nobility, and so Vlad quickly seized the Wallachian capital. Restored in the country, a new agreement between Edirne and Targoviste was signed by the restored Wallachian ruler. He was to pay an increased yearly tribute to the Ottoman capital, supply 500 children for the Sultan's Janissary Corps, and lastly, give his second and third eldest sons, Vlad and Radu, as hostages to the royal court of Murad.
Is that Vlad the Impaler? Is that that has to be Vlad the Impaler. I'm not tripping, right?
As events in Wallachia settled down, troubling developments elsewhere began trickling down to the Ottoman capital. With the Council of Florence concluding with the triumph of Catholicism over Orthodoxy in Byzantine affairs, and enthusiasm in the air after Hunyadi's successful military campaigns against Murad II, the momentum around Europe to call forth a crusade against the Ottomans grew stronger than ever. With Władysław III getting political assurances from King Frederick III of Germany that he would not attack his domains from the west, the field was set for another Hungarian military offensive into Ottoman territory. By the start of 1443, Pope Eugene IV published a crusading bull against the Ottomans, and by Palm Sunday of the same year, Buddha declared war on Edirne.
Oh my, yo, Palm Sun, yo. I haven't heard of that term in a long time. Palm Sunday. Look, being from a Christian country, I want to say Christian country, I mean like an actual Christian country, okay? Barbados is super duper notoriously Christian. In fact, all of the British Caribbean, they're pretty Christian. They're super Christian. They actually take that super seriously. I'm not even kidding you. But I know Barbados, they take that to the max. I know my mother's country, St. Lucia, they're also super Christians as well. And even the opposite. A lot of people down there, they do like black magic and they worship the devil. I'm telling you, dude, when I lived in Barbados, actually, oof, the stories that I heard was crazy. But I'm gonna save that for my religion reactions, okay, when I react to more religious stuff in the future. I'm just saying Palm Sunday, I just haven't heard of that because ever since I moved to America isn't really as religious as my home country. So it's just like, oh wow, Palm Sunday, wow, it's crazy, man. I don't think Muslims will know what Palm Sunday is. I honestly forgot what was so eventful about Palm Sunday. Oh, that's so criminal of me. The fact that I'm a Christian, I didn't honestly forgot why Palm Sunday was eventful.
Władysław, together with John Hunyadi and a still exiled Juraj Brankovic, spent most of the summer mustering a great crusading army. Many in the Crusader camp were optimistic about the upcoming campaigning, as the majority of the main Ottoman army under Murad had been redeployed to Anatolia to deal with the Karamanids. Upon the instigation of Byzantine and Phoenician diplomats, Ibrahim II Bey of the Karamanids launched an invasion of Ottoman Anatolia during the summer of 1443, as he believed that Murad would be too preoccupied against the Crusaders in the Balkans by then. However, a coordinated attack against Edirne was botched, as the Crusader army was nowhere to be seen, thus leaving the Karamanid Bey at the mercy of the Ottoman Sultan.
Wow.
His son, Szekely Aledi, spent the majority of the summer raiding and plundering the lands of the recently declared infidel ruler of the Karamanids. In spite of a quick military victory, the Sultan of the Ottomans signed a quick peace treaty with Ibrahim, as he did not want to invoke a war with the Mamluks, who had friendly ties to Konya. The sudden death of Aledi, caused by a horse accident during the campaign, might have also contributed to a quick peace settlement. Whatever the cause, by the early fall of 1443, Murad had secured his eastern borders. Meanwhile, over in Europe, a readied Crusader army of around 25,000 strong
now they come
Ottoman Serbia, while
bro, imagine if they had attacked when the Karamanids had attacked. Imagine what that would have been. Wow, interesting timeline to think about. Tell me what you think would happen. If you think it wouldn't really change nothing, tell me. I want to hear your opinion. Come on now.
Sultan was busy wrapping up the Karamanid War. The Polish-Hungarian king led the army, but in reality, John Hunyadi held the most military influence in the Crusader camp. The army consisted of 6,500 Hungarian infantry, 5,000 Transylvanian mixed cavalry and infantry, 1,500 Czech mercenary cavalry, 9,000 Serbians, led by the still exiled Juraj Brankovic, 1,000 infantry from Bulgaria, Albania and
Those Serbians, bro. The Ottomans, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. A lot of the reasons why the Ottomans won their battles was because of their Serbian vassals, bro. Nah, I'm pretty sure the Ottomans are about to get a taste of their own medicine, essentially.
Bosnia, and lastly,
those
a small
Serbian
Western
knights,
European
man.
contingent of 2,000 led by Cardinal Julian Cesarini. The Hungarian magnate led the vanguard alongside his best mounted knights, while the king and the supply wagons followed a single day's march behind him. Like the Crusade of Nicopolis conducted by King Sigismund back in 1396, the main goal of the new crusade was also to re-establish a number of Christian buffer states in the Balkans, while at the same time coming to the aid of Constantinople.
Poor Constantinople. Yo, poor Constantinople, bro. Constantinople just literally sandwich. Oh, it's 10 years before Constantinople, the Eastern Roman Empire, gets completely annexed, though.
For the Crusaders, as they were able to rout 3 provincial Ottoman armies near the outskirts of the town of Niš in a series of 3 battles. Hunyadi had prevented these Ottoman armies from uniting into a larger force with the help of his newly formed light cavalry corps, the Hussars, a direct response to the highly mobile Akinci light horsemen of the Ottoman army. It was to be after these defeats that a certain Ottoman governor named Eskender Bey, a son of a former Albanian feudal lord, deserted his post and instigated a major rebellion back in his homeland. In the meantime, Murad II had crossed into Europe with his Anatolian army and began mustering more troops in Sofia in order to deal with the sizable Crusader host. Perhaps in desperation, he declared jihad on the invaders as a way to quickly fill up his ranks, as much of the Ottoman Balkan army had been disbanded for the winter. However, marching down south towards the Ottoman capital.
Jihad. I feel like that term is conveniently used by Islamic nations in the past just to have an excuse to fill up manpower. I've never really heard of a real jihad that was legitimate, like a real jihad, like a legitimate reason. Like, it's just, I don't know. I never really heard of that before. Every time I hear jihad, I'm just like, oh, another Islamic country. I shouldn't even say country, just another leader from an Islamic country who's just using another excuse just to get more manpower. That's just how I view it. I don't know. Again, enlighten me in the comments.
The decision to implement a scorched earth strategy was taken by the Ottoman Sultan, which saw the evacuation and burning down of Sofia and many other villages in the local area. By early December, the Crusaders, who themselves were low on supplies, entered a depleted and burnt down Sofia, and to make conditions worse for Hunyadi, heavy snow began pouring down on the soldiers of Christ. Meanwhile, Murad, knowing that his quickly assembled army was no match against the more experienced and armored Crusaders, had begun fortifying all mountain passes heading down south to Edirne. The Sultan thought that through this strategy, his smaller army could use the narrow and steep terrain to bog down Hunyadi's larger host. Seeing that the bulk of the Ottoman army was stationed at Trajan's Gate, the Hungarian magnate decided to take a detour and head northeast to attempt a crossing of the less defended Zlatitsa Pass. Unbeknownst to him, Ottoman scouts in the region were alerted by this sudden move, and Murad reacted accordingly by assembling his main army at Zlatitsa. The following battle was to be a bloody one, as both sides fought for control over an elevated snowy mountain pass during the middle of winter. While Ottoman cannons from the mountains bombarded the Crusader army in the pass below, Hunyadi was knocked off his horse by a stray lead bullet before retreating to safety with the help of his bodyguard. At the end of the day, the disadvantageous terrain and fierce Ottoman resistance forced the Crusaders to begin their retreat back to friendly territory.
Ooh, wow, that is so disappointing. And yet again, the Christians got whooped. How disappointing.
After achieving a vital Pyrrhic victory at the Battle of Zlatitsa, Murad ordered his marcher lords to pursue and scatter the retreating Crusader army before they could reach the Hungarian border. But even in defeat, Hunyadi had one final ace up his sleeve.
Oh, really?
In the weeks after Zlatitsa, the Hungarian magnate had managed to lure his pursuing enemy into a trap near the town of Kunovica in Serbia. In a sudden counterattack under the cover of nightfall, the overconfident Ottoman host was outflanked and destroyed by the Crusaders. More importantly, the Sultan's own son-in-law, Mahmud Çelebi, was captured during the engagement. With Hunyadi getting the last laugh,
Oh, wait. The Christians actually did something to the Ottoman invaders for... Wow.
The Crusader army entered Belgrade by the end of January 1444, ending their 3-month incursion into Ottoman lands. Although Hunyadi and Władysław were celebrated as national heroes back in the Hungarian capital, in reality, the long campaign had been a bloody stalemate for both sides. The crusade failed.
Honestly, bro, at this point, considering just how awful the Christians are doing, I call this a victory.
To seize the Ottoman capital and defeat the main Ottoman army at Zlatitsa, in addition to not getting any aid through to Constantinople. On the flip side, the Ottomans had been dealt multiple defeats during the campaign and were unable to scatter an already exhausted Crusader army during their retreat. The Ottoman military class had also been demoralized during the campaign, as for the first time, the capital city was severely exposed to an invading army. Morale in the Balkan provinces was also at an all-time low, as the Scorched Earth campaign conducted by Murad and the sacking of many towns by the Crusaders had devastated the entire region. All of these factors resulted in a general sense of doom and gloom from Ottoman officials in the capital. And to make matters worse, disastrous news in the form of an Albanian revolt and a new Karamanid invasion of Anatolia had arrived by the spring of 1444.
Oh, I know. I was sitting here thinking in my head, there's no way that people aren't gonna just sit idly by. There's no way people are just gonna sit idly by. Like,
with multiple military hotspots ravaging his realm, Murad initiated peace talks with Buda. The delighted Hunyadi wished to take advantage of the following negotiations to make major demands from the desperate Ottoman Sultan. However, many at the Hungarian court thought differently. In spite of the Hungarian magnate's wishes, many in Buda felt that the Ottomans were on the verge of total defeat and that the war had to be continued. Cardinal Julian Cesarini led the pro-war party, as he believed that freeing the Orthodox peoples of the Balkans would bring the two churches of Rome and Constantinople closer together after the Council of Florence. Venice had also shown an interest in joining the crusade due to the military successes of 1443. With the Doge's navy, a blockade of the Straits could commence, thus depriving Murad of his Anatolian army in the military campaign to come. Everything seemed poised for a great Crusader victory. And so, in April of 1444, King Władysław took a solemn oath to lead another crusade against the Ottomans by year's end. In the meantime, the duplicitous Peace of Szeged was signed between Buda and Edirne in the summer of the same year. In return for a 10-year truce, the Despotate of Serbia, along with its former ruler Juraj Branković, were reinstated, and Edirne paid 100,000 gold florins in war tribute.
this is a
In the next
victory.
episode of our series on the early history of the Ottomans, we will look at the culminating engagement between the Ottomans and the Crusaders at the Battle of Varna.
This is a victory. This is a
To ensure you
victory.
don't miss that, make sure you are subscribed and have pressed the bell button. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing. It helps immensely. Recently, we have started releasing weekly Patreon.
Bro, you know how, like, finally, I don't even know, happy that they finally did something to the Ottomans, man. Jeez. Oh my gosh, they were like an unstoppable machine, man. If you like what I have to say, my reactions, go check out my other reactions on my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe for more. If you have any suggestions, go comment down below. Do keep in mind that I have a lot of suggestions to do, as long as doing weekly reactions, which were also suggestions. I hope you enjoy. Okay, I hope you enjoy my handsome face. Because I'm not gonna be looking like this most of the time on camera. No. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching and goodbye.